Okay, we'll be showcasing the capability of ArtsMagna to manage a direct mailing type marketing to clients. The way we achieve that is we go into the system parameters, we go into the setup of ArtsMagna, and then within the setup under the clients, we've got the capability to input two emails. Let's say email 1 is this one here, it's the top field, and email 2 is the one in the bottom field. As you can see from this example, in the top email 1 we've got a straight text content, while in the bottom one we've got HTML content. ArtsMagna is capable of handling both. In the scenario with the straight text, then we simply type it obviously as it is, and in the HTML what we generally do is we would use a software like Dreamweaver, a good HTML editor software. It can be any other ones, which would allow us to edit it in a quick, fast way, then move to the show the source code rendered of that job that we've done, of that page that we've created, and then basically copy the source code and paste it directly into ArtsMagna, and then ArtsMagna will basically be able to handle it. Another thing that we can see here is that we've used this particular coding structure, so we've put dear and then star, salutation, star. Using salutation here allows us to point directly to the name field in the client's card. So if in the client cards we've got a client that's called Adriano Cisternino, for example, by putting this it will use Adriano, the content of the name field, and you can use this as many times as you want, and this makes the letter a lot more personal. Also, last thing to notice within the setup is that we've got the information in here that I use to send the email via mail server. So we put our own mail server, we will put our from address, our reply to address, and we can also put a subject. Now in this case we've got one single subject which is applicable to the first or the second letter. So if we need to send two different content letters, we will come back into the setup and we will change this field here to match the first or the second letter content. Then we save. Once we've created the contents in here, we just save this in the setup, and then basically we leave the setup, we go into marketing, and we go into clients, and then from here we can see the list of all of our clients. Now we could select a few clients, 3 clients to which we want to send this email, or we can just simply select them all with Ctrl A, or if we want to select one, we just, like in this case for the test, I'll just highlight the one that I want to send it to, and then I click this utilities button, and I've got an option to send a blast email 1. So that's that straight text content. So we know that in the letter 1 at the moment in the setup we've got a straight text content in the email 1, so I'll send a straight text content email 1 and do OK. And then you can see here that because we've only got one, it's sending 1 of 1. If we had 20 people selected, it would say 1 of 20, 2 of 20, 3 of 20, etc. And then I re-highlighted the same client, and this time I'll send him a blast email, HTML email 2. Send, okay, and that's been sent as well. Now the way ArtsMagna sends this email is on an individual base, which means they are not picked up by mail server as spam. This way is a longer way of sending emails, but the advantage of this is that obviously the email will definitely get through. Now what we can do is, if we're going to send like 20,000, if we've got a database of 20,000 customers, we have to allow for a fair bit of time for this process to happen. So my advice would be to set them up at night time, like 6 o'clock, 7 p.m, select them all, send them, and then by the next morning they should all be done. We can now go and check the result of this in Outlook. So if we just open up our Outlook, okay, we open Outlook and we just do a send receive into Outlook, and that's the first email that is coming through, and that's the second email. So the first email that we sent, it's basically the normal email, and you can see here how it was structured. It's got, dear Adriano, it is a pleasure to showcase to you, blah blah blah, and also again here repeated Adriano, we hope. So it's picking up the Adriano directly from the name field. That's a straight email. So we now look at the HTML one. So the HTML basically looks like this. I didn't use any salutation, otherwise it would have, even here it would have said dear Adriano, exactly the same as it has done in the straight text email. And you know, obviously you can create hyperlink or anything within this. You can put images and they look really good. So This gives you a bit of an idea of how it works. It's a very, very efficient way and simple way to send emails to all your customers. Now, if somebody wanted to use their own mailing system, or send them through a different setup, like a mail merge for Word, for example, or Excel, what you need to do is simply export the list of important information from your client files, and the way you do that is through the quick report. It's quite simple. So you would just open up your marketing, go into clients, select a selection of clients. Now in this case I'm just going to make a selection of 2 or 3 just as an example, and then once you've made that selection you can isolate it, you can reselect them, and then you just do a quick report and basically take out of the system all the fields you need to. So you can take the client's surname, and then client name, and then address, okay, etc. Now in this particular example we are using this database. It's got fields in Italian, but that's, obviously in your own you'll see them in English. So you'll pick up the fields that you want, all of the fields that you want, including the email address and everything. Like if somebody's got an email address, so you put the email address there, that's it. And then what that will do is it will come up with a list like that. That list can be also exported to text, like to a file, to an Excel file that then you can use for a mail merge. So once you put in all the data that you need, you just simply go into File, Destination, Print Destination, you change it to disk file, and then you do File, Generate, which this time it will basically give us a file which we call merge, mail merge, and we save it onto the desktop. Save, done. So if we now go onto our desktop, we've got the mail merge there. So we double click and we can see there how we've exported that. We can also open that into Excel. So if we do right click, open with Excel, okay, you can see there you've got your mail merge list with all the fields which then you can use to do your own mailing.